Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you can hear me. My name is Patrick Benson. I'm the Director of Continuing Education and Outreach here at VanderCook College of Music, and I'd love to welcome you to our afternoon masterclass with Professor Liu. We are looking forward to this great class that Professor Liu is going to walk us through. Just a bit about our VanderCook is the only institution in the United States that focuses solely on music education. And we are proud to have Professor Liu as one of our esteemed faculty members. Professor Liu has been said to be praised as a scorching performance by the New York Times. He is a winner of the International Tchaikovsky competition in Moscow. We are lucky that not only is he one of our faculty members, but his wife is also on our piano faculty, and they've traveled all over the world performing. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Professor Liu.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yang Liu, and really, what a pleasure to meet everyone online in this special circumstances. Let me quickly browse through who is there. If you don't mind to unlock your camera so I can see you guys, that would be really great. I would love to see your real faces. Thank you so much. And as much as a seminar going, I also would love to engage everyone in conversation and interactions. So I think today's topic is basically how to prepare for auditions and competitions. I think mainly auditions, school auditions or job auditions as violinists and violists. So the first thing that came to my mind is, in order to have a good audition, in order to have a successful audition, one has to think on the other side of the table. That would be me, people like me who are listening, or in this case, in nowadays, watching the auditions. What are we looking for? I think that would be really important. So what are we really looking for, or the jury members are really looking for? There are a few things that's important. First thing is, of course, the playing quality. You gotta have a good preparation. You want to play well, and so to play well, let's start from there. How do we play our best in front of a camera or a phone or anything like that? The short answer is you can't in the first about 5 tries or even 10 tries. Let me share a little bit of my own story. As the pandemic hit us, so as on-stage performing artists, we, besides being a professor, we lost our jobs as a performing artist. And later on, we had to learn how to perform in front of a camera, in front of a phone. We did recordings, we did online seminars, and we did online concerts. In the beginning, it was really weird. I thought if you're able to play for real people in a concert hall, which with my wife, we traveled through the whole world, and we played in large halls that contains 2,500 people, 2,500 people. And I thought, how difficult could it be to play in front of a camera, a phone? And I was surprised. Boy, was I surprised. I must say the first few online concerts was quite difficult. Yeah. Why? Because there is no real people interaction. And especially for auditions, if you play in front of a camera, the only feeling you get is the emotionless phone or pad, a tablet or camera that will capture every mistakes you make and be judged later by the jury members. It's not a good feeling. So how do we conquer this? So in my opinion, to play a good quality of audition, first of all, one must understand how to play your best. Yeah, let's say I'm not here to tell you how to play more in tune, how to play faster, how to play more emotionally engaged and interpretationally correct or moving. No, I'm not talking about that. I am talking about within your capability, within what you have prepared, what you can do to maximize your quality of performance, and then capture that on that phone. That is important. So to be able to do that, you must either conquer the fear of playing through this cold, emotionless phone or camera, or you just have to get used to it. So in my case, I got used to it. How? It was really difficult. I just have to do lots of repetitions. Now, live performance is even more difficult because you get only one try. And in front of a camera, but I find if you record yourself enough in your studio, in your home, that would give you a lot of practice and support. So first thing first, before you record any piece you're about to play or you're about to perform on the phone, you want to practice in front of the phone. As funny as it sounds, it really works. You just turn your phone on, your camera on, your tablets, you just turn it on and you put it there. And guess what? You will feel the camera is shooting the laser beams at you. And it really makes your adrenaline pumps up. It really does. Although you know you're not going to send out the takes. So you just keep taking them and keep practicing in front of a camera. So you really get used to being captured by a machine. Your performance is captured by a machine. This is a very strange feeling, and sometimes it's difficult to get used to, but it's possible, and for sure, it'll be done if you do it enough, which in this case costs no money. If you have something there, you already have it, most likely, and then you just record one time after another. Or you practice. Let's say today I want to practice 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm going to bring that phone on. I'm going to turn on that tablet. And the very interesting thing is soon you turn on that tablet. Guess what? You are super aware of your problems and mistakes. To me, it's a great way to improve your own practice, period. It really does that way, It's much better than just practicing in the practice room and having your mind wandering around. No. As soon as you turn on that machine, it will make you super aware of what you're doing. All your mistakes or all the shortcomings will just show up. And then you start to think, oh, wow, that's not so good there. Then believe me, 20 minutes practice in front of your tablets, the camera, is hyper-focused practice. It's a great practice. So not only for people who are auditioning, but for people who want to improve in general, turn on that camera only to yourself. You don't share with anyone. You delete it afterwards. Not a problem. But you turn on that camera and you practice in front of that camera. Boy, will that make you feel. It really will make you feel. Then you got to watch them. Yeah, you don't have to watch the whole thing perhaps, but you want to watch the parts where you feel and you think it's good or it's less good. And, some places could be improved. I suggest if you go through this method, keep a paper and pencil by you. So you tap the screen and you know which minute and at which second that is a take that's good. So then let's go to the next point. The best performance, most likely, or sometimes, or oftentimes, is not when you are prepared to play. It is not. The best performance, in my experience, often happens during the trying period. For instance, with my wife, we launched on this Goodnight Music series because we need to practice. Without concerts, we get lazy and we think, oh, maybe a few months later or next year. No, we wanted to keep practicing. So we launched this music every week, almost every week. We play a new piece and then we perform, we practice, and then we put it online on Facebook and YouTube. And many of them were the takes when we say, let's give it a try. Let's not to make it a serious take. Let's just keep the machine on and then just try a few times. After this a few times, maybe we start, serious recordings. And often it happens during those trying, because when you're trying, you're not as nervous. You're not as intense. So most likely you would perform better and in a more relaxed and more energetic setting. So you want to keep that camera rolling. Keep your camera rolling. If it's not good, delete it. But keep a pen or pencil and a paper next by you. So whenever there's a good take, you think, oh, that was a good one. Then you put it down. Later, you can edit that one together with your introduction, and I am such and such, and I play this and this. So that's the playing part and practicing part. I really, really highly recommend everyone to practice with your camera on. And after you practice, you never know. Some days are good, some days are not so good. When the good days is there, and then you practice, and then all of a sudden you say, I feel like I want to have a take. Let me just do a take. And then it's very possible that would be the take that you want to use. I have seen audition tapes, videos that are well prepared, and some of them are not well prepared at all. I have seen also audition videos, violin and piano. They are one beat off from beginning till the end. It was quite difficult to really hear, what's right, what's wrong, with all this. So there are lots of, over the past year and a half, almost a year, I have encountered a lot of video auditions, and then so I built a bit of my perspective of the final product, how you want the final product to be. So after practice, performance, make sure you watch from beginning till the end of your own video. Make sure you do that. It's crucially important. I myself have made that mistakes too. I thought everything is good and just put it out there, and then later I found the ending, talking parts were there. My kids were running around. It was there. So make sure you do watch your own video from beginning till the end. Do not fast forward. Do not fast forward. Yep. So now, after you make a good take of your performance, next thing is you want to introduce yourself properly. In most of the audition videos and in most of the auditions you guys do, most likely you will play more than one piece. Yes, am I correct? You're going to play etudes, perhaps. You're going to play a musical piece, something fun, something shows your capabilities. And for some of the auditions, they ask you to play scales, yeah. And some of the auditions, they ask you to play sight readings. Now, truth be told, the jury member who listens have a preference of listening to the scales first, or the side readings first, or your musical pieces. So we can really write down all the numbers, because there's quite a bit of mathematic works we have to do, with a paper. It would help greatly if you, not as simultaneous, if you can add it on, my name is such and such and such, in each and video. It's a great help. Whenever I receive videos like that, I appreciate. Immediately I have, positive, pleasant feeling towards this person already. And you want that, all right? You want that. Let's say, unless you play like Josh Barbell, your recording tape is just stunning. There's no way people are gonna say, it's not so. But unless that, your presence, your appearance will help greatly towards your whole package, the whole performance factors. So you want to say your own name. My name is, for example, in this case, my name's Yang Liu. I will play Don't Etudes number 8 today. Yep, that is very clear and easy and clear. So you want to say your name and the piece that you're performing. That is a very, very important thing. You want to do that. Again, you don't have to do it right before you take the audition tapes. You can always, nowadays, I'm sure you guys know how to edit them. Just put the 2 parts together using iMovie or video editors, anything you can use. So that's the bigger part. And the next one is video quality. Within what you have, I'm not asking you to have fancy camera or anything. Within whatever you have, how to produce a good quality of audition videos is really, really important. It's really, really important. You guys all know that if something you shoot on the camera is pleasing to the eyes, it immediately elevates your audition quality already. And you want that. Again, you really want to add more pleasant factors into your audition tape. So the video part, first thing first is, if you're a violinist and a violist, you want to make sure the video captures the whole instrument at least. Yep, the whole instrument. For instance, if I play like this, it'll be fine. But it would be better you try to have your bow on the tip of the E string. That is the angle in viola, the A string. Put your bow at the tip on your outer string. E string for violin, A string for viola. Look what happened here. I thought my video was okay. Pretty good, wasn't it? Well, guess what? Not anymore, because you can't see my right hand when I put it there, which means I have to readjust my angle. Now, at the tip of the G string, the inside string, that's okay. But look what happens here. You see a big hand. If I play something, it's all nice and good, but look, my hand is blocking my whole face, and you don't really see the whole picture. So you do want to adjust that. So 2 tips. First is put your bow at the tip of your E string for violin, A string for viola, and then still show your right hand. Then it's a good posture. Then it's a good frame. For example, in this case, I just have to make my camera a little further. Now, if I stand or if I stay on this height, that is a good angle. You want to have that at least, okay? So that's the first thing. Put your bow the tip of your bow on the outer string. Still show your right hand. Still show your right hand. That is a good frame. That's the depth of view you want to have. Yeah. If it doesn't show, you got to move your camera back. The second tip is put your tip of your bow on the inner string, violin for G string, viola for C string. And then look if it's blocking your face. Now, the best angle is that you do not want your bow straightly shooting into the camera. Instead, you want to have a 45-point angle here, just like in a real concert, just like in real concerts. Yeah, you want the violin's F hole point to the camera, which is more or less 45-degree angle. And then if you can do that, check on outer string, inner string, outer string, inner string. You would think, it's a professional audition tape. Why do people want to see my face? So long they can see my left hand, the right hand is good enough. Well, technically, yes, but as a performance, no one wants just to see the hands, because your facial expression is part of your audition, is part of your performance. Your body language is part of your performance. If you have a confined space or a limited space, then like what I'm doing now, it is okay. Yeah, you just show half of your body from waist up. Now, if you have a greater space, here's the thing. You can have the camera, have the frame to show your whole body, but I don't quite recommend it, because oftentimes when I look at an audition video, I want to see the hand. How is the right hand handling the bow? How's the left hand handling the violin and fingering and everything? When you shoot in a bigger frame, so the person appears smaller, then it's harder to see the finer movements of left and right hands. Does it make sense to you guys? So that would be for the frame. Yeah. So 2 things, please remember: tip at the outer string and bow tip at the inner string. If still the frame contains your both hands, then you're good. Then most likely you're good. Yeah. And the next thing is lighting. Lighting is important too. I strongly recommend, if you use natural light or room light, you want to have your camera not to shoot against the window or light. Does it make sense? Because then your face will appear dark. For example, if I do a video shooting or audition tape right next to my window, and then what happens is the window is going to be bright and I will be dark. Yeah, so it's my face and my hands, which is not good. Unless you have some kind of light. If I can show you guys here. I have a ring light I turn on for occasions like this. So if you can see, the ring light is shooting right on my face. And as well as it will show my hands. So that way you guys can see me. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know, you can see my hands and my demonstrations, facial expressions. So that's another tip. If you don't have a ring light, or you can use a lamp, you know, for example, the floor lamp over there, make sure you put it behind your camera. Yeah, towards you. Behind your camera, the light would shine towards you. That would be something important as well. Next one is microphone. So most important thing, sound quality. Nowadays, I think a lot of the smartphones, they have very good microphone. It really is good enough. iPhone or Samsung or Android, they really give a very good quality. And you guys really can trust the jury members. When we're listening, we're not listening to the sound quality, the effect. We really are listening or playing. So having said that, I have received some audition recordings that is overly echoed. There are software out there, I know. You can put echoes on your recording. Reverbs, when it's heavily done so, it's rather disturbing. It's difficult for us to hear. Trust me, if you want to record a good audition tape, do not use too much reverbs. As a matter of fact, if you don't use it, it's the best, actually. It's much easier for the jury members to tell what is your real playing quality. And we appreciate that. Yep, we really appreciate that. Another important thing. So if you are, which I assume in my experience that I assume you are using your phone microphone or your tablet's microphone, the distance is the key. The distance between the microphone and you yourself is the key. Within, let me put it this way, within 2 feet, it's a no-no. It's too loud. And the microphone does not take so much sound waves, and oftentimes it will crack, and it will greatly affect your playing, your audition quality. And it's hard for us to tell whether it's your playing or sometimes it's. And when it's too far away, let's say 10 feet away, it's really too far. I would really say about 5-6 feet, between 3 feet or 4. 4 feet is really nice. 3 is acceptable. You don't want to get closer than 3 feet. 4 to 6 feet in normal microphone on the phones are pretty good. So you should be good in that settings if you are using the microphone on your tablet. And make sure the software you use, that it doesn't happen so often, but it happens actually a few times. I received recordings from people who use a third-party app to record themselves. Turn out the app, for example, Zoom has this function, is to equalize the sound, the voice, and auto adjust the sound. Guess what does it do, guys? It automatically eliminates all uneven sound waves, make it sound just the same volume. It's great for speaking. It's great for conversation. If you're talking to a friend, great. But for musical auditions, it's a catastrophe because that's the final ultimate point you want to show is music, right? Dynamics. If you eliminate that, what's left? It's just sound waves and pitches left, up and down. It is really bad. You want to make sure you turn that function off. You want to make sure. If you play and you hear, you listen to yourself, and then you find out, oh, this sounds like a machine playing. It sounds like, digital sound. Most likely that function is on. And for a lot of the phones and tablets, they come with this function. When you're playing really soft, really beautifully, all of a sudden it just, enlarge the sound. And when you're playing passionately, and then you will compress it down. So you practice and practice and practice, and you record yourself. And what happens? You just, end up with a, this. You don't want that. You really don't want that. So you really want to make sure the software you use to either you turn off that function or just use the natural sound. I think in Zoom, there is a function called original sound. There is that function when you are using Zoom for any performance-related purposes, you want to turn on that original sound or turn off that voice compression, sound compression. So that's for sound. Basically, how many criteria do we cover? Yeah, preparation, practice, camera, sound, frame settings. Then, then, okay, last thing I will touch up on a little bit on the content of playing. Repertoire. So what repertoires are good for auditions? I understand you all have different teachers and a lot of teachers would say different things. So some teacher would tell you, play the hardest thing you can, play something that shows your technique, play something that's hard. My suggestion as a jury member who listens to audition tapes, I've done that for the past 20 years, college, graduate students. And for my 20 years of experience, I can tell you that level of difficulty of the music, in fact, plays less than 50% of the importance in the whole audition package. Yeah. The level of difficulties in a musical piece is not as important as you think. The most important thing in audition repertoire selection is the one you play well, the one you like. You genuinely like this repertoire and you play well on it. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, you can play Paganini Caprice, you can play Tchaikovsky Concerto. If you don't play well and you don't like it, most likely we don't play well on things we don't like, then it wouldn't be a good audition at all. You want to choose the repertoire you really like, especially if you guys are thinking of taking auditions for education schools for music ed major. What we're really looking for is your attitude and your character in music. Yeah, if you genuinely like certain music, and you most likely you would play well, and that's something very much appreciated, and something you prepared rather longer than shorter. I have received audition videos of people who play something not well prepared. Later I asked this person, I said, why did you choose this program? I'm just curious. And this person said, well, I've played the other pieces long enough and it's boring. I want to try a new thing. I said, okay, how long did you prepare this? He said, oh, I practice a week. A week is for any music is not a well-prepared period of time. So you want to play something that's rather well prepared. For example, you can at least, if you can, memorize it. By the way, if you play an audition with memorization in front of camera, that is a big plus. Yep, that's a big plus. So we know you have capability of memorization. And most likely, if you can memorize a piece of music, you can play well. It really is just simple math. Yeah? If your brain has already captured the whole structure of the music, most likely your fingers, your body did too. So I would recommend choose the repertoire carefully and choose the repertoire that you like. Choose the music program you feel mostly comfortable with. Yeah. So let's I think that's a lot of monologue from myself. Any questions, guys? Anything I can answer or help?
Hi, my name is Emily Mullen. I'm a junior in high school and I'm looking to apply to some music schools. What would you recommend for like auditions needed for college? Is there anything more specific that you would recommend for those, or is it just kind of the same things that you have talked about?
What exactly are you talking specifically? You talking about repertoire or?
Yeah, repertoire, just in general. Like, do you have any more specific tips for like college auditions or?
Yes, well, for different colleges, there are different requirements, right? For example, in VanderCook, the requirement would not necessarily include the 10 major violin concertos. You can play basically anything. For violin and viola, we would appreciate a complete piece, not the whole thing. For instance, if you play a Mozart Sonata, one movement would be great, or at least up until an exposition. As repertoire, though, we welcome repertoires from student concerto, like sides or Vivaldi's, or in the Suzuki books, they have lots of wonderful excerpts that you can use, and those are great too. Before we used to have a pianist for audition, but now it's special time. We don't have a pianist. You don't want to get a pianist in your house, and so the repertoire really opens up a lot in VanderCook. So every school is different. As for requirements, that's what you're asking. Requirements. The school will have handbooks and descriptions on the website that you can always look. But again, to play something you're comfortable with is most important. It really is. Even sometimes outside of the requirements, but it may work.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Anyone else? Or let me see. Any other questions? Who's this? Matthew. Matthew, hey, I see you there. How do you pronounce your last name?
I pronounce it Janaden.
Janaden, yes, I couldn't see it on the screen. Yeah, were you taking notes? You were quite.
Yeah, I am.
you were. That is really cool. That's really cool. Do you have any questions? And what do you play, violin or viola?
Yeah, I play violin. I don't have any questions though.
Cool. Yeah.
Could I ask another quick question?
Absolutely.
So I play both violin and viola. Violin is my main instrument, but viola I've played for, this will be my 6th year. Do you have any recommendations for viola rep, or when applying to colleges, because that's my big focus right now, would you recommend auditioning on violin, or should I send some like viola stuff as well, or should I just stick with my main, because this will be my 13th year of violin? So like, what should I do since I play both?
May I ask you what kind of colleges are you auditioning for?
I live in Virginia, so I am looking at a local college. I'm looking at like VanderCook, just other places, because if I go into music, I'd like to study music education.
Music education, yeah. See, I would say stick with the instrument that you're more comfortable with. You practice more, but one advice is you definitely want to play a viola piece, definitely. Because a violinist who can play viola is a big plus. It's a big plus. It's very important. When faculty members know a violinist who can play viola, it plays a very strong role on your audition videos, because then we know in chamber music, you can play violin and you can play viola. In orchestra, you can serve when we need it. So people who can play both instruments are so welcome. And I think it's a great thing. You should definitely. And you never know. I've encountered situations that a student who sent in both violin and viola audition tapes, but didn't get accepted by one, but was accepted by another with actually pretty good scholarship with it. Mm-hmm. That has happened too. You definitely want to show.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I see there's a chat room. Someone asked a question. Where is that? There, okay. Is folk music a good audition piece for an orchestra? Well, my friend, it really depends on what orchestra. If you are auditioning for a folk music orchestra band, yes, absolutely. If you're auditioning for a symphony orchestra, most likely not a folk music, or if you're talking about country music or bluegrass or folk songs, except transcription of folk music. There are a lot of transcriptions of folk music by Fritz Kreisler, Jascha Heifetz, and Aaron Copland, and Bernstein had a few of them as well. So they are, as long as they are within the classical music genre, then it's fine. But if you go play fiddling, if you're fiddling, go to a symphony orchestra, say, I want, I heard you guys have a concertmaster open. Yeah, I can play really good bluegrass. Most likely, it's not a great fit for Beethoven's symphony if that's what they have in mind. Yeah.
Professor Liu, I have a question that I think might help some of our attendees. Is could you touch on what you're looking, what you look for from a musical perspective in an audition? We talked a little bit about this before the chat started, or the webinar started. Was we're learning the music, we get the notes in our hands. What elevates the music to that next place? And I know that this can be an extended conversation for many.
Absolutely, yeah.
Many,
Yeah, I totally get it. And I think that this is one of the biggest issues today is how do we relate to this music? Short answer is, I don't know, because the world is changing. The world is changing and young people's mind is changing. These music are not changing. If we are talking about classical music still, and I have great passion for it. So I hope you have too. But if the question is, how do we apply our emotions into this music? Then we can talk about it. But if the question is, someone have no feelings about classical music, then how can you play it well? Well, you cannot. I really don't know. So you have to like it to begin with. But how to like it, that's something we can talk about. I think today, from my experience, that the biggest issue is, Patrick and I, we spoke briefly about it a bit before this meeting, is we both feel that in the younger generation, people are a bit afraid to express their true feelings or emotions in this music. I think for one reason is because we feel this music, this classical music, is not something we grew up with. It's not something we listen every day. So there is some sort of disconnection in between, which there can open another discussion about it. But on the other point, that where I feel if you're afraid of expressing yourself through this music, I think there's one specific mentality we really want to address ourselves and we want to be aware of, is that, are you afraid of putting your emotions to express yourself, your true inner vulnerable self through this music, this classical music, or any music that you play, is because you're afraid that you will do wrong. You will be judged. You have to be aware of that. If that's the case, the answer from me is absolutely not. You will not be judged if you express your inner emotions through music, no matter how you do it, no matter how you do it. You can turn the happiest Mozart sonata into the most grieving music. If you succeed in doing that, I admire it. I will immediately give you a very high score because it is coming from your inner vulnerability, no? Because you dare to express yourself. I think that's very important, to dare to express yourself instead of thinking I may be judged. You will not be judged by daring to do something. So long you dare to express your inner emotional state through music, that is already a big, big plus, really. In music, some people say there's no right, there's no wrong. I share a true story with you that once I played Brahms Sonata #1, I think, yes, the one he wrote by a lake somewhere. I have never heard this music and never heard recordings. I just got music, sheet music from the library. And, that was the time there's no internet yet. I was a student. I couldn't find a recording. I had to get a CD. The CD was checked out. I couldn't hear anything. All I have is the sheet music in front of me. So I started playing and I feel, this is a very happy music. It's really nice. It's a major and many turns and the places made me feel so happy. So I played for my professor. Luckily, I had a very good professor. And he was so happy for me. He said, wow, that was amazing. And then later on, we studied about this music. Then I learned it's about sorrow. Brahms expressed his sorrow through this music. This music is supposed to be extremely sad, disappointed. One thing dies after another. It's like the lights shut off one after another. But I turned it into a really happy music and I succeeded in doing that. And from that lesson, I learned from my teacher that if you can do something so convincingly and so originally, that you should not be judged. No one can judge you unless you want to change later. That's your freedom. So my point is, regardless how you feel about this music, so long you feel about it, and you're willing to put your emotion into this music and present it on a video, hopefully through acceptable form, a good form that we can see it. That's what we're looking for. The willingness, the enthusiasm, and the daring. Guys, trust me, in art, there are most brave people in this field. It's as brave as being a soldier. Why? Because you really have to know yourself so well, be aware of yourself, and willing to show the deepest, the most profound, vulnerable state of your inner being through this music. And then you show it to people. That's how music unites us together. That's how we get to know one another. That's how we love to do this year after year, year after year. Yeah, because we become stronger and the music really put us together. Sometimes I listen to someone's performance. I know this person a lot more than talking to he or her for a long time. That's how music does to us. So if so long you're daring to show yourself, to put your own original thoughts, feelings, emotions, experiences, messages into this music, and then throw it at us, and we will be delighted and mostly grateful to watch your videos and to enjoy your performances. Yeah, Anything else, guys? I think our time is about.
Well, thank you so much. If anybody has any questions, you can send myself an email and I can pass them along to Professor Liu. We're so grateful for you to be here this afternoon and hope that we see you at future events and maybe even on campus. Again, let's give Professor Liu a round of applause and thanks everybody for joining us.
Well, thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope soon enough, we can do this in person. Matthew, thank you too. Thank you too, Matthew.
Thank you so much for your time. This was lovely.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate being connected to you guys. Trust me, I've been bored. Just, yeah. I really wish we could get together in a real form, you know, sometime soon. And to be able to get back to the stage to play for you next time. Yeah, and certainly I wish to see you in VanderCook. If you're considering, it would be a great place for you for college, and we can spend quality times, performance together with seminars, chamber music, and thank you too